The House just passed the biggest tax cut for the wealthy in history. I know that's not what this article from CNBC says, but it's literally the biggest wealthy tax cut in history the House just passed. And looks like it's on the way to maybe Biden's desk, depending on what happens in the Senate. CNBC, of course, because they're libs, frames it differently. Restrictive retirement rules for the rich edge closer as House passes 7.5 Biden Build Back Better plan. My man who sent me this, he says, what's his name here? Hold on just a I guess right here. There's my man, actually I don't know his name. Yeah, but my man Hammer, he calls himself Hammer. MC Hammer sent me this. All right. House Democrats passed the Build Back Better on Friday. It contains new rules on retirement plans for the wealthy. The bill would create required minimum distributions for retirement accounts of more than $10 million, eliminate backdoor loopholes, and prohibit new contributions to large accounts. I can't believe how many people are sending me emails who should know better. Say, I'm not going to be able to do Roth conversions anymore. I'm not going to be able to contribute to Roth. No, it doesn't say anything about that. I don't get why. It's weird, man. Look, I don't like freaking Sniffy Joe. I certainly don't like Nancy Pelosi and whatnot. I don't like the Democrats. But come on. It's not in this bill. I don't get it. Anyway, so let's talk about, we're going to talk about the House the new rules are part of a broad restructuring of the tax code, which would represent the largest expansion of the social safety net in decades. They passed among party lines. Wealthy individuals with more than $10 million in retirement savings would have to draw down their accounts each year in a new type of RMD. Lawmakers would also close the backdoor Roth tax loopholes, as if they're loopholes like, oh my goodness, that's the law. You have a right to take advantage of the loopholes. Lawmakers would also close backdoor loopholes used largely by the rich. What the hell is that? Have you done data on that? Who are the rich? I mean, this is just freaking editorializing in an article. That freaking drives me crazy. So I hate the media. Oh, I should not hate. I greatly despise the media because used largely by the rich. Have you done any evidence of that? Are you editorializing? Because I know a lot of people do the backdoor Roth who would not consider themselves rich, and I would not either, freaking idiots. And prohibit further IRA account contributions once those accounts exceed $10 million. The measures are aimed up at curbing the use of the 401k plans and IRAs as tax shelters for the wealthy. They, along with tax provisions aimed at corporations and households making $400,000 a year, raise revenue for all kinds of stupid stuff. All right, but I do see major Obamacare subsidies. I'm okay with that because Obamacare is going to get you out of your crappy job. I hate to say it, but if this is what it takes to get you out of a crappy job, or the mandating the Maxine Waters, and there's a guy just recently on my channel who says, why do you have to take a political stab at Maxine Waters? I was like, well, you obviously new here. He goes, no, I'm not. I said, well, you're new, because if you don't know what I'm talking about in reference to Maxine Waters, you're not paying attention. So don't stay here. I'm cool with that. Anyway, so if we got to use Obamacare to get you free from the Maxine Waters, I'm cool with that. Let's see, the retirement proposals were... including the initial House tax proposal. However, the White House stripped the rules from the legislative framework on October 28th. But some of the early retirements didn't reappear in the new iteration, but these ones did. For the example, the initial legislation would disallowed IRA investments like private equity that require owners to be so-called accredited investors, a status tied to wealth and other factors. And the initial legislation would disallow IRA investments like private equity. All right, it's interesting, but they got rid of that, so you can have to get rid of the backdoor Roth, which only wealthy use. Legislation would be subject to change in the Senate. Yep. RMD for $10 million accounts. Currently, RMDs for account owners are tied to age instead of wealth. Roth IRA owners aren't subject to their distributions, except inherited IRAs at death. And then, of course, Roth 401ks are. The House legislation to add those rules, asking wealthy savers of all ages to withdraw a larger share of aggregate retirement balances. They potentially owe income tax on the funds. Account holders must withdraw 50% of accounts valued at more than $10 million. Large accounts must draw down 100% of Roth to a size over $20 million. The distributions would only be required for individuals whose income exceeds $400,000. Let's see, the provision would start after 2028 when all these guys are gone anyway. Backdoor Roth, this is the big one. I love Roth IRAs are especially attractive to wealthy investors. Well, if you're only attracted to Roth IRA because you're wealthy, you're dumb. Everybody should be attracted to Roth IRA. Investment growth and withdrawals are tax-free after the age of 59 and a half, and there are RMDs. However, the income limits to contribute to Roth IRAs. In 2021, a single taxpayer can't put money into a Roth if his income exceeds 140. Did I say his and not he, her, or what are we supposed to say? We're supposed to say she now. I still say he as a formative definition of what do they call that when you're saying this is his account or he went to the store. But current law allows high-income individuals to save in a Roth IRA via backdoor contributions. You don't have to be high income to use a backdoor Roth. For example, investors can convert a traditional IRA, which doesn't have an income limit, to a Roth. All right, you don't have to be high income to convert a traditional IRA to a Roth. You freaking idiot. Current law also allows for mega backdoor contributions to a Roth. This process lets the wealthy, see how they're freaking just such freaking scumbags, these media. Process lets the wealthy convert much larger sums of money since 401k plans have higher annual saving limits than IRAs. No, it doesn't let the wealthy do it. You don't say, you're wealthy, you can do this, but poor people can't. No, you can do whatever you want, man. You can be poor or rich, it doesn't matter. The rules are all the same for everybody. The House rule would prohibit any after-tax contributions in 401ks and other plans from being converted to Roth savings. Okay, it would prohibit any after-tax contributions in 401ks and IRAs. That would be where some people are getting nervous. Like, I have after-tax money in my IRA. You still have the aggregate rules, though, guys. You still have the aggregate rules. So if you're not familiar with the aggregation rules, if you have any accounts other than this one after-tax accounts, it's aggregated to how much you can convert. I don't know. People get all up on this. I don't get it. Secondly, savers would be unable to convert pre-tax to Roth savings and IRAs if their taxable income exceeds $400,000. So that's kind of the way it used to be. If you had a certain amount of income, you could not do conversions before the Pension Protection Act, if memory serves. IRA contribution limits. Let's see. Current law allows IRA contributions regardless of account size. However, the legislation would prohibit individuals from making more contributions to a Roth if their value of their combined accounts exceeds $10 million, or if they make more than $400,000. None of this really bothers me all that much. I don't get it. The backdoor Roth thing, okay, that's I guess a little bit of a pain, but you can't convert if your income's over a certain threshold. That's what it used to be. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know. I just don't get all up in arms. I find it interesting they didn't talk about the SALT provision, where now they're going to be able to, the wealthy will be able to write $80,000 a year off for state and local taxes. They don't talk about that. Now we see who wrote this article, because this person is a clown. Clown show. Greg, who is this guy? Let's see, do we have a background? Old Greg here. Clown show. No, of course not. All right. Anyway, I'm just not sweating it. It's just passed the legislation in the House. Still got to go through Senate. Still got to go through committee. Who knows? And even if it passes, does it really affect that many of us? Nah. So I just want to worry about stuff that affects me and the regular people here. If you got more than $10 million, yeah, you'd be wanting to know how this shakes out. If you got more than $400,000 of income, yeah, you'd be wanting to know how this shakes out. I still don't get it. Give to Caesar what's Caesar's, and give to God what's God's. At the end of the day, you're not paying more tax. You just have less ability to save tax free. So, you're still to do Roth conversions, you still got to pay tax on front end. To do, hey buddy, to do Roth contributions, you're still paying the tax up front. Yeah, I just don't think it's that big a deal. All right, we'll see you.